flash flood emergency. I got about a minute. I know it's Johnson.
Yep, so not us.
Local law enforcement report flash flood across it, but they got, because they did another one down here I was going to ask you about.
Not for us.
I know.
Extends the time.
Okay, they're doing these emergencies.
Yeah, it's pretty bad up there.
Johnson, okay, I know, okay.
Carter Green, Watauga Dam. What's that flooding in high flow of water from
That's the
Watauga
one.
Dam?
That's the one I was going to ask you about earlier.
They may just be having to do a release so it doesn't break the dam.
But it's only great. I got you.
To be honest.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's exactly right. Relieving pressure.
Yeah, they're probably just having to do that. I'll read that. Let me read that one.
And a good Friday evening to you. Welcome to the weekend. What a day, what a week it has been. So we're going to kind of go through what we've seen with Helene, and particularly over the last 24 hours. Well, if we go back to last night, and this is kind of a summary of tracking Helene. Helene made landfall as a major Category 4 hurricane. Maximum sustained winds of 140 miles per hour, pressure 938 millibars, and in the Big Bend region of Florida at 11:10 last night. Now, as you can see, the future track a little bit more east than what some earlier guidance was showing, but generally far eastern sections of Georgia, near the Georgia-South Carolina line, and then made that hook across from Georgia, South Carolina line, right up into southwest North Carolina, and then look at that, right over Knoxville. Did you see the opening of the sky and a little bit of the blue skies? That was kind of that was the center of the remnant circulation of Helene. A little bit of a quote-unquote eye feature, if you will. Not truly an eye because it's no longer really purely tropical. Actually, it was a tropical depression officially as it moved over the Knoxville area. And matter of fact, it was basically almost still a tropical storm as it was approaching Gatlinburg. And we saw the skies kind of a little bit of clearing in that center or eye-like feature. So that was kind of interesting. But on a serious note, more devastating flooding on the right-hand side of the track of Helene up into North Carolina, and a lot of wind damage and more flooding was experienced across the eastern parts of East Tennessee. Whenever a tropical system makes its way inland, and the worst winds, the worst rainfall, the worst impacts are always on the front right side of any inland falling tropical cyclone and hurricane in general. So even though it was weakening, right along and to the right of the track of Helene were the worst impacts, the worst wind, the worst rainfall, and the worst flooding. And certainly now that has translated into river flood warnings that we'll get to in a moment, including the Pigeon River, which is at its highest crest ever on record. We'll show you that graphically in a moment. But as far as back to Helene, again, no longer tropical. Now it's just a remnant post-tropical low pressure system. It's getting absorbed by an upper level low pressure system. The larger big picture feature is back out in parts of West Tennessee. So Memphis and Nashville are seeing the rains. We've had a very breezy, windy day today, I should say. Still a little breezy now, but it's been very windy. And we'll talk more about the higher winds we experienced earlier. All right, let's talk about the current warnings. We have a lot of aerial flood warnings for quite a few counties, including from Sevier, Cocke, and Greene counties right up through the rest of Upper East Tennessee. And look at how many counties are under flood warnings. Just about all of western North Carolina under a flood warning. So we have county-wide flood warnings, large areas, and then we have individual river flood warnings that are continuing to see the water run off and flow into these larger rivers and tributaries, and then the larger reservoirs trying to hold all this water. So it takes a while for all that heavy rainfall that we've seen over the last several days, and again this morning, even from North Carolina, that flows into Tennessee. Yeah, a lot of the heavy rainfall flows in the French Broad from North Carolina into Tennessee, the Pigeon River from North Carolina into Tennessee, Nolichucky River, again, very high levels up into Greene County. So that's what we saw. Again, the last 3 days, heavy rainfall, and again, today, heavy rainfall. So it takes a while for all that water to run off. That's why we have very high crest, and that's why we have these river flood warnings. Take a look at them. River flooding on the Clinch River. To the north, it's coming out of Hancock County into northern Granger County. The Nolichucky, again, very high levels and flooding in Greenville, in Greene County, and certainly in the French Broad and the Pigeon River at Newport merging together. Again, very high, major flooding ongoing, and devastating flooding in some parts of North Carolina, and that high water again flowing from the French Broad and the Pigeon into Cocke County and Newport. And that's another big factor there. We'll take a look at it in a moment. Also, the Little Pigeon in Sevierville, Sevier County, also has a flood warning across that parts of the region. So here's what we're looking at as far as how much rain was observed over the last 72 hours. Now, this is estimated by Doppler radar, but nearly 10 inches in parts of Blount, Sevier, Jefferson, and Cocke counties. But a widespread kind of 6 to 10 inch rainfall for many of these areas. And you can see not as much rain overall, though widespread soaking rains of some 3 to 6 inches in other parts of East Tennessee. And again, on the one hand, in the good news department, we were in a major drought and we needed the rain. It's been so hot, so dry. So, that changed this week, and it's going to put a major dent in the drought. And those conditions will be updated next week. So a lot of this rain in some respects was good, but obviously too much of a good thing all at once or in a short period of time has led to this very significant and even in some cases devastating flooding. Take a look at the Doppler radar estimates for rainfall over North Carolina, over 1.5 feet. And this is, again, over the last 3 days. But it started really on Wednesday, particularly, and got, again, 6 to 8 inches of rain plus in some parts of North Carolina at that point, just in that one day alone. And a lot of that was in a very short period of time. So, yeah, that got the rivers rising and the ground saturated. And between western North Carolina and East Tennessee, we've seen those water rises continuing. Take a look at this. Record river levels for the Pigeon River at Newport and Cocke County. At last check, the most recent update, over 28 feet, nearly 29 feet. This is the highest crest the Pigeon River at Newport has ever seen on record, and since records have been kept. The most recent river crest that high was, you got to go way back to 1902, 122 years ago, and right here, look at the previous peak river crest. The top rated one was just over 23 feet, set back in 1902. So that beat it by over 5 feet, what we're seeing right now. Again, just under 29 feet. Very high levels at the Pigeon River in Newport. So no wonder there's some major and devastating flooding going on there, and even some evacuations in Newport itself. Now, the French Broad, also it's the highest since 1916 at Newport in Cocke County. The top river crest, again, 24 feet is the top record setting way back in 1867, but this 20 foot puts it in 4th place in the top 5 of top river crest. That's for the French Broad River at Newport in Cocke County. And by the way, we'll give you a traffic update in a moment, but a lot of things happening in Cocke County. And river flood warnings, will stick to that right now. Nolichucky in Greene County, also the highest since 1977. That puts it at 3rd highest river crest peak as far as on record, and also in the top 5. So here's what we're seeing moving forward. Our future cast, yeah, we're going to see a chance for more scattered light rain showers, a little bit of a breezy wind as we get into your Saturday. We got a break from the rain right now. Yeah, your weekend, we're going to see that upper low feature kind of bringing us some scattered light precipitation back in, off and on. Again, not nearly as impactful as what we just had, but it's the upper level low pressure system. It's still got some light rain showers that will swing back through both Saturday and Sunday, not the whole time, but keep the umbrella rain gear handy if you're coming and going. Drive carefully, still some wet streets at times, and temperatures will be fairly comfortable otherwise in the 70s. Okay, did want to mention, and I'll go ahead and show you the regional view. I mentioned Cocke County and traffic. You may have already heard this. If not, you'll see it posted on our social platform and social pages. But Interstate 40 in Cocke County in Tennessee going into North Carolina is closed. And it's shut down, both 40 east and westbound at Interstate 40. And we have video of why it's shut down. We'll take a look at that right now. Again, basically the Pigeon River and these record flood levels and all that water from flooding coming out of North Carolina and Tennessee flowing down the Pigeon River, it ate away at the road and basically caused the eastbound lanes on Interstate 40, again eastbound, going from Tennessee into North Carolina to erode, and the road was washed away on the eastbound lanes. So westbound still there at last check, but it was eroding. It was eating away at the eastbound lanes on Interstate 40 and close to the Tennessee-North Carolina line. And I believe it was just inside North Carolina, actually, I believe. So anyway, that's close to the line. So that's a look at why the Interstate I-40 is closed in Cocke County. And so you can't go I-40 from Tennessee to North Carolina, both directions. It's closed. And also 441 through the Smokies while we're having high winds was also closed last check. Hopefully that will reopen at some point soon. But again, Interstate 40, east and westbound, closed from Tennessee to North Carolina in both directions. And that's going to be perhaps a prolonged major project that they got to fix. This has happened before. You know the drill. I've got to go up and around 26 or take some of those back roads. And check 26, though, it also had a closure earlier today. Well, here's a look back at our regional view. Again, upper low will bring some light precipitation in our area. We'll take a quick check of our forecast tonight. A breezy night, still some breezy winds, again, left over, but not near as impactful. And a little bit of a breezy south wind will be back with us tomorrow, south-southwest. Again, some scattered showers Saturday, Sunday, may linger into Monday. And then we'll finally see the atmosphere dry back out right about the time we turn the calendar page from September over into October. Tuesday, October 1st, we get some sunshine, dry weather, and pleasant conditions returning for the first part of September. These temperatures right about average, upper 70s. I'm liking the overnight lows, cooling down into the 50s by Wednesday night and again Thursday night. Next Friday should be very pleasant as it looks right now. So we'll keep you updated. Again, that's the latest information right now. What a week it's been. I hope you're staying safe. I hope your power stayed on. If not, I hope it's back on soon. And continue to drive carefully with some off and on light showers as far as the wet roads. Keep the umbrella handy this weekend. And we're looking forward to some nice weather coming our way by October. Have a great night and a good weekend.